Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel Philosmos, where everything philosophical is discussed. Now, today I'll be talking about masculine energy and feminine energy, and just straightening out a lot of misconceptions and a lot of confusion that have encircled the subject. So, hopefully, after this video, you will have a more in-depth understanding on what these energies are and, of course, how they can better benefit your life. So, let's get started. So, let's look at the history behind masculine energy and feminine energy. So these two concepts both are derived from alchemy, and alchemy is basically the original form and expression of chemistry, in which their main objective or their main pursuit was to take mundane, ordinary matter and transmute it into a universal elixir, like they used to take base metals and actually transform them to gold. So it's just basically taking something that is not useful and transforming it into something beautiful. So alchemy was a way also to describe the behaviors of the universe and attribute particular laws. So a particular behavior that was discovered by alchemists was polarity, and polarity in the sense of masculine energy and feminine energy. So these are descriptions as to how the universe behaves. So masculine energy and feminine energy are descriptions of energies. Now, what a lot of people do is that they connotate this to gender. So males and females both have masculine energy and feminine energy existing within them. Now, based on the individual, that will determine which energy is more predominant. Because in the conceivable world that we live in right now, planet Earth, every organism basically has an equal amount of these energies existing within them. But I think within the human context, one energy has to be more predominant than the other. So this is based on your goals, this is based on your desires, and it's based on the mental state that you carry. That will determine whether you exude masculine energy or feminine energy. But generally speaking, males tend to exude more masculine energy and women tend to exude more feminine energy. But there are exceptions, of course. So now let me describe what these energies are, particularly so that you can understand the role that they play. So masculine energy is like a focused energy, and it's assertive, it's goal orientated, and it's strategic and focused on planning. Okay, so already you can see the kind of mechanics that the masculine energy carries. And then feminine energy on the other side is more creative, it's more open, it's more expansive, and it's the house of emotion and intuition. So that is the mechanics behind feminine energy. So these two energies work together, okay? But what we have, what was actually going on in our society right now is that men and women are at dispute, okay? And both, physiologically speaking, okay, are both expressions of masculine energy and feminine energy. It's just which energy you express is not dependent upon your gender, but your gender, the physical body that you carry, does exude certain characteristics that are either masculine or feminine. So with men, our bodies are more straight aligned, and so that is an aspect within sacred geometry and Fibonacci that you can actually study, that if masculine energy had to travel from point A to point B, it would go within a straight line and it would not deviate. And then feminine energy on the other side, it would get from point A to point B, but it would curve and take all kinds of routes in order to get there. So masculine energy is represented in being straight, okay, and then feminine energy is represented in being curvy. So that's apparent in the male apparatus in terms of our bodies being straight aligned and women being curvaceous. So Yeah, so what's happening with our society right now is that most people have this perception that masculine energy is toxic and it's running rampant and it's causing destruction in our planet. Now, this is true, but because of our uh, inclination to always negate the opposite side, we don't really take that into consideration. Both energies, both masculine energy and feminine energy, are toxic because we as individual human beings, are toxic. So how we use these energies are going to be toxic as well. So the way masculine energy has been toxic is that assertiveness, that confidence and that goal orientation is then inverted, and it creates a sense of aggression, which then tends to lead to violence and domineering behaviors. And then within feminine energy, because feminine energy is more receptive, right? It's more open. So the way we receive information will always be to our detriment, or will always receive information and utilize emotions in order to manipulate people, or to send ourselves into a negative spiral. So, as you can see, we are using these energies in toxic ways. We're not utilizing masculine energy and feminine energy correctly. And this uh, is the result of the split that we create between two opposing ideas. So, the up and the down, the left and the right, the good and the bad, the self and the other, the hot and the cold. You see, all these diametrically opposing ideas, okay, that are expressions of the universe. Because remember, the universe, from our conceivable, the way that we perceive the universe, it's very dualistic. So there are attributes to it that are diametrically opposed. There's matter, there's antimatter, and because of this diametrically opposed frequency that exists within the universe, it appears as if they cannot coexist. But on a deeper level, when you look at the yin and yang symbol, masculine energy and feminine energy both collide. But the problem here is that we human beings, the way we perceive that relationship with the yin and yang symbol, or the relationship with two opposing ideas, is that we see these things as being in opposition. We see them as being in conflict. We see them as trying to eliminate the other. Good is trying to get rid of bad, bad is trying to get rid of good, the light is trying to get rid of the darkness, and the darkness is trying to veil and eliminate the light. You see, so men and women going at it in our society right now, it's an expression of this conflict that we impose on two diametrically opposing ideas. But in reality, when we look at it from a deeper level, then we realize that there is a meeting ground where these two both merge and they are one. So within the masculine, there's the feminine. Within the feminine, there's the masculine. Within the good, there is bad, and within the bad, there is good. So all opposing ideas share relationships. So their existence as opposing ideas are complementary. So our purview of seeing diametrically opposing ideas is to see them as being complementary. So let's look at ourselves as individuals. Within each of us, we all carry masculine energy and feminine energy. And the masculine energy, the best representation that I can give of it is the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the one that takes information in parts and is the one that is focused in your experience of reality, and dissects information uh, due to logic and reasoning. And then we have the subconscious mind, which is related to feminine energy, which is more expansive, which is more creative, and which has no structures, and it has no sense of order. So things happen randomly. So merging these two together, because as we can see, what generally happens is that we have a lot of experiences that we have that are generated by the subconscious mind. And then we consciously wonder, why is it that we have these negative experiences? Why do things continuously happen that are bad? And we never actually realize that there's a link between the conscious mind, you, the one that's paying attention and listening to the words right now. You are connected to the subconscious mind that alters and creates the universe in the background. So why we have such things happen in our life that we don't necessarily see that we created it is because of the division that we create between ourselves and our shadow selves, our selves that are known and the self that is unknown. You don't necessarily pay attention to it. So merging these two energies together and seeing them as complementary, you see them as actually working together. The self is working with the environment and the environment is working with the self. You see, so once you understand how to balance these energies, anything that is contradicting within you, realize that it exists because it is there to be a complementary aspect to you. So every negative thing that exists within you that you want to eliminate and get rid of, realize that it forms a complementary relationship with the self that you are right now. Because within that, when you merge the negative and the positive, when you merge the masculine and the feminine, something new arises that is beautiful. So when you merge and balance your contradicting aspects within yourself, then you're able to bring forth new consciousness, a new level of consciousness, and a new way of seeing that goes beyond the good and the bad, that goes beyond diametrically opposed ideas and sees them as existing as one. So masculine energy and feminine energy are both one. It appears as if they're in conflict, but in reality, there are two energies appearing to be two energies, but they're actually one. So now it gets to how we approach life now. So these energies are always backed up with every action that we take. So every action is either a masculine action or a feminine action. A person is usually a feminine person or a masculine person. So there's an energy that we predominantly exude when we're taking action in our day-to-day existence. So when we approach life, when you're approaching your business, when you're approaching like any goal orientated task, right, that needs focus and that needs consistency, what you need to do is approach it from the masculine energy. You cannot approach those situations from the feminine side, because the feminine side is more receptive and it's more creative and it's more random. So you will not necessarily achieve anything from the feminine energy. But if you want to achieve things, then you need to be within the masculine energy. And how you would use this masculine energy to have more strength is to back it up with feminine energy. So that goal that you have must have a lot of emotion attached to it. It must you must involve your creativity within it, and you must involve the sense of openness. So now how you intake information. So expressing yourself, acting in this domain, you need to be in the masculine energy within the world. You always need to be assertive, you always need to be goal orientated, and you always need to have a sense of purpose. And then when you intake information from the universe and from life, intake it from the feminine energy, Meaning, whatever happens to you, the way you filter that information, the way you process that information, you need to be creative and utilize your imagination. Imagination is an extension of feminine energy. And when you hone in on the skill of deliberately altering your imagination and deliberately working with that to attune and align your emotion to it, then you are using the feminine principle correctly. So, what we're doing as a society right now is that we're doing it from the opposite. We are approaching life from the feminine and we are taking information from the masculine. So we're approaching life with that uncertainty, with that principle of chaos and randomness and creativity, but with no order. And then when we intake information, we're not fluid and we're not open to other possibilities that contradict pre-existing ideas. So we basically eliminate them. You see, so once you understand how to cultivate and use these energies, guys, it transforms everything in your life, because these energies are descriptions of how the universe behaves. So the universe that we perceive right now, the expression of it in terms of the matter, is the masculine principle. And that is why there is consistency. That's why our experience of time is linear. And that is why objects appear to be separate from one another. It's because our purview of reality is masculine, right? But then the hidden part of reality, the subtle part of reality, the intangible world is feminine. And this is clearly demonstrated in quantum physics and particles having superpositions and just subatomic particles behaving randomly. So the basic building blocks of reality are expressions of the feminine energy. And then the classical world that we observe with our physical eyes, this is the masculine way that the world manifests itself. So that's why contemporary science and quantum physics seem like they're diametrically opposed. They cannot form a relationship, but there exists a relationship between them, because at the end of the day, masculine energy and feminine energy are one. So I don't want to get too deep into that. Let's end it off. I can do a part 2 on this. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And to end it off, as I always end it off, guys, for those who seek, seek no more, for in the present we find it all. Thank you very much.